Today we're starting the chapter on 3D coordinates. That just means we're adding another axis. We had an X and a Y axis all along. Now we're going to add one more axis, the Z axis. Just to start out, here's a little activity just to check your art skills. So we are going to pretend that these three lines are the corner of the room. If you look over on the left-hand side of the room, it's over by the door. And we're actually going to try to just sketch the corner of our room. So maybe the first thing we would do is we would draw the bulletin board on the wall. There's the bulletin board with the calendar and the stuff. And then it's got the clock up there. And that's the easy part, right? Little speaker. And it's whatever o'clock. So that's the wall. We've got a little bookshelf. We've got a podium on that wall. Now let's try drawing the tiles on the floor because that's what I want to check to see if you understand. So let's just draw some nice horizontal lines. And now when we go the other way to draw the square tiles, we're not just going to come straight down. We want to actually follow that baseboard over in the corner. So every line that we draw will be parallel to the axis. And this is supposed to represent sort of the floor. Now in art, you know, some tricks to make things look further away and closer, but we're not that interested in that. We're just looking for a general idea that those tiles are slanted because then it gives the appearance of the floor. Now if we were going to draw the door, for example, we would still go straight up because the door is parallel to this corner where the two walls meet. So we would still go straight up to draw our door, but the top of the door isn't going to just be straight across. The top of the door, again, is going to be parallel to the floor on that wall. So when we draw the top of the door, we want to make that parallel to the floor. We could add in the windows off to the side. And again, anything that's going to be sort of rectangular, the sides of those rectangles are either going to be parallel to this baseboard, or to this corner where the walls meet. Now, everything that was on this first wall, this front wall right here, just shows up normal because we kind of have this horizontal and vertical, but on the side, you have to sort of put things in perspective. So that's how we're going to be drawing today. By the way, this corner where the left-hand wall meets the floor, we're going to call that the x-axis. The baseboard in the front of the classroom, we're going to call the y-axis. And then to get the height, we're going to call that the z-axis. And so just one more little picture that I want to show you as a warm-up. Here is our x, y, and z axis again. And what are these cubes? Well, this cube number 1 represents Mrs. Backlund's classroom. Okay? And that's because we're considering this to be positive x, and this to be positive y, and this to be positive z. And so in the first area, that's what we're going to call where everything is positive. Now, where's Mrs. Brock's room? Mrs. Brock's room is right behind mine, right behind this wall. So there's Mrs. Brock's room. Here's outside of Mrs. Brock's room, and here's outside of my room. And then, you know, the basement. Just pretend there's a basement. Here's the room that would be in the basement below my room, below Mrs. Brock, and these two rooms would be the hallway in the basement. So if we fit all those back together, you can sort of see how those three axes split everything up into how many boxes? It was 8 boxes. So 8 sort of general areas. If you consider this point right here to be like the origin, right? Where we haven't gone out x, we haven't gone out y, and we haven't gone up z. So that's where we would consider the origin. It's the kind of corner where each of the boxes meet.